First, on case extend the Levine 12 evidence, this card is really specific to how, when approached about how the law, specifically the War Powers Resolution, the WTC, affects the war powers, President Obama directly denied them and told everyone how he would just simply go around them and circumvent them. And extend the crouching authority damage, Obama will use a unitary executive theory to sign the statement specifically. He will see this challenge to his authority and effectively bypass the precedent. And third, except the second piece of crouching authority damage, Obama doesn't like the idea of restricting on authority. Proceeds their precaution evidences from 2012 are crouch at all the crouch at all evidences from 2013, and extend the Richmond evidence, which specifically said that Obama does not like it when he is restricted. This directly clashes with the precaution, specifically because the warrant of the card specifically says that in the instance of when he is about to be restricted, he will try his best to veto the power, or even qualify the crouch at all evidence that he will sign statements and use unitary executive theory to get past it. And they only have three effective arguments on this. One is the fiat argument. One is the fiat argument, and even if fiat only means the plan gets passed post that ballot, not that it's implemented or enforced. And this is not a rollback argument, and the entirety of our circumvention argument is not a rollback argument. The fact that we're not saying that the courts will roll back, rather we're saying that Obama will circumvent the court's precedent and what they effectively create as a result. And also extend that the code action statute causes circumvention because it blurs the lines between the reported findings of what OCOs can and can't do, which means that effectively there is no way that even if the plan does get implemented, covert operations under the CIA, DoD, etc. will effectively circumvent the court's precedent, and because the lines that they can blur. This was completely conceded. And the only other argument is that they said they solved back for the Barnes, extend the Barnes 12 evidence. They said they solved back for the military operation that Obama will then legitimize as a result of circumvention. However, they cannot solve the part where he does in fact circumvent. The fact that he circumvents is what allows him to legitimize the operation and cause global warfare. The card is really specific, but when he does in fact circumvent, he creates new forms of military operations outside of OCOs, which they can't even solve for, and then he legitimizes the operation and then uses those operations to create more forms of global warfare, which means, if anything, their acts completely turn all of their warfare claims will only be recreated as a result of circumvention. The fact that they can't and they can't solve back for it because the fact that they cause circumvention means that they can't actually resolve the impact to this. That unless they find a way unless they prove that they can solve circumvention, but they haven't, because we prove that our evidence postdates theirs, and that fiat is not the rollback argument is illegitimate. And on the counterclaim. First, on the permutation does not solve specifically extend the Belia 2002 evidence that specifically that non-executive silence is key to precedent preserving executive flexibility. That when using the inertia to push an executive order, that the president cannot needs a non-executive silence, the silence of Congress and judiciary to actually solve, which means that inherently the fact that if in fact the Supreme Court were to attempt to do this with the president, it would actually cause the perm to be worse than the plan itself, which means that the counterclaim is better than both the plan and the permutation, because there's no because non-executive silence is the only way for the executive order to actually pass and gain momentum. And also, they extend the pause remember review items from the 1C that the CP solves 100% of case, and they say that it will link back to politics. However, extend the fine 2012 items and the presidential 12 items that specifically say that Obama will bypass Congress and will avoid the backlash from Congress, which means he won't be affected by any fights that occur. He won't be affected by the fights that occur as a result of the politics debate, and politics is also the reason why the permutation does not solve. The fact that and I'll get into the debate in a second, but also extend the fact that the counterclaim can in fact solve for deference, and extend the deeds 10 evidence that executive deference allows court to review presidential acts sufficiently solves the case. Did not properly answer this argument, which specifically the card talks about how executive action is incompatible with forms like Congress and the judiciary, but however, executive deference establishes a norm that actually enhances the judiciary, which inherently means that the counterclaim can in fact solve for what the judiciary needs to do, and it also extends the covert action statute. The fact that the covert action statute means that OCOs will get circumvented from the caseload. This means that inherently the states of the entire avenue improves the counterplan solves better because the counterplan redefines what a covert action statute is through the 1991 NSA appropriation, which means that we solve for the entirety of case that they can't solve for, and can't solve for through the counterplan because there's no circumvention, and we solve for the solve for covert action. And on to patent. First, on the uniqueness debate, our uniqueness is not conceded in this entire meeting. The mayor 3-5 in spite of lobbies against patent reform, Obama is pushing it now. White House is currently arguing lobbying to get legislation put together, and Obama is pushing for it to be passed now. That Beckerman 3-3. It looks good for his leadership. He wants patent reform. He'll push for it and pass it. But he needs PC to get it passed. And on the local level, extend Canning and Johnson 98 that using the judicial is still going to cause political backlash fighting in Congress. The Supreme Court decision to rely on other branches to enforce the process of translating decision and action. But the judicial action to the enforcement of their plan is a specific reason why they look, and it's going to cause political infighting. This is our Stark's 12 card, and it's going to cause a response to political action because OCS are politically polarized by Congress. It's going to cause political fighting. That's our Stark's card, and also extend our impact to politics. The British evidence that it causes every impact imaginable, and extend the WHO that it causes that it inherently causes structural violence. And first of all, the fact that it turns everything and causes multiple kinds of wars means that it turns the entirety of the case.
52 seconds.